I lost an imaginary bet. My husband and I never wanted kids. We were happy with our life. Just the two of us, our careers, our freedom. But for 5 straight years, our moms wouldn't shut up about it. You're ignoring God's plan for you, my mom would say during every phone call. My mother-in-law was even worse. She'd send us articles about fertility declining with age, baby clothes in the mail, and guilt trips disguised as prayers. The only blessing, they absolutely despised each other. If those two had ever teamed up, we would have been completely doomed. Then I hit 30, and life threw us a curveball. I got pregnant. It wasn't planned, but after some long conversations, we decided to keep the baby. We were actually getting excited about it. You'd think our moms would be over the moon, right? Nope. Suddenly, it was like we didn't exist. My mom barely responded to texts. My mother-in-law stopped calling. When I went into labor and we let everyone know, my mom never even showed up at the hospital. My mother-in-law casually wandered in that evening like she was picking up groceries. No rush at all. Meanwhile, my sister dropped everything. She raced to the hospital first thing in the morning and stayed with me through the entire labor. She held my hand, brought me ice chips, and didn't leave my side once. After the baby was born, we walked down to the nursery together. She wanted to see her new nephew one more time before heading home. The nursery window was crowded with families cooing over their babies. All the newborns were doing their thing. Some were crying, some had wiggled out of their swaddles and were waving their tiny fists around. Others were just staring into space with those classic blank newborn expressions. But my baby, he was being shy. Both of his little hands were covering his face, one hand over his left eye, the other over his mouth. All you could see was his tiny nose and one closed right eye peeking through. My sister looked at him and immediately started laughing. "Oh," she said, loud enough for people nearby to hear. "He must already know he looks like his ugly daddy because he's self-conscious." She leaned even closer to the glass. "Don't worry, little guy. They've made incredible progress in cosmetic surgery. You'll be just fine." For context, my husband and my sister have this running joke. Every time they see each other, it's "hi ugly" and "bye ugly." They've been doing it for years. The funny part, neither of them is ugly at all. They're both legitimately good-looking people, which makes the joke even more ridiculous. Right as we were laughing, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law came strolling down the hallway. They were deep in conversation with each other, completely ignoring everyone around them. Then they stopped right in the doorway. Just stood there talking, blocking the entire entrance to the nursery viewing area. People were trying to get in and out, but they didn't move. They didn't even seem to notice. One man politely said, "Excuse me," nothing. He said it again, a little louder, still nothing. Finally, he just squeezed past them, clearly annoyed. As he walked away, my sister-in-law spun around and shouted after him, "Ugh, seriously, so rude." My sister and I made eye contact. We didn't say anything, but we both knew something absolutely unhinged was about to happen. You could feel it in the air. Eventually, they made their way over to the viewing window. Still didn't ask me how I was feeling, didn't say congratulations, didn't acknowledge the fact that I'd just given birth to their grandson. My sister-in-law just looked at the rows of babies and said flatly, "So which one is yours?" Even though there were literal name cards on each rib, I pointed to my baby. He still had his hands over his face, hiding like a little hermit. I expected them to complain that they couldn't see him properly. Instead, my sister-in-law turned to my mother-in-law and said, "Clear as day, you were right. He doesn't look anything like your son." My mother-in-law nodded slowly, like she'd just won an argument. I knew he wouldn't. My sister and I just stood there, completely frozen, silent. Then the absurdity of it all hit us at the exact same time. These two were infamous for this. They loudly doubted the paternity of literally every baby born to anyone they knew. Cousins, neighbors, co-workers, friends. It didn't matter. Every single baby was suspicious to them, and now they were doing it to me, to their own grandchild. We both burst out laughing right there in the hospital hallway. People stared, but we couldn't stop. My imaginary bet that after 5 years of begging us for a grandchild, they'd actually be happy when he arrived. Turns out I lost.